Probably should
All
eat on
right, all
screen.
right. So, yo, this is Beat People Podcast, episode 26. And today is all about Beatmaker 3. Um, mobile beat making is a big part of the culture and the community. And I think right now the 2,000-pound gorilla in that beat maker space for iOS, at least one of them anyway, but the one right with the most attention around it right now is Beatmaker 3. So we got all my people on here have Beatmaker 3. Some of us have only had it for a week, so some of us may be more well versed in it than others, but we all have our opinions and thoughts and stuff. So I got two guys that I think were on the beta test team. That's Rod and Mike. What's up, Rod?
Yep, I was on the beta test team, and shoot, it was cool, man. There was a lot of problems.
That's so good. So that's what it is with beta testing, though, right? So
yeah, it was cool. Like a lot of it's ironed out now. Like it's pretty smooth.
Okay, cool. And what's up, Mike? Mike from Pad Bangers is also. I don't know if you were on the beta test team, but I know you've had it for a while. I think you were the first review on YouTube of it. So welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me again. Yeah, I've been beta testing it for a good 6 months, I think so. So I don't know if it's pretty much from the start, but it was a very early stage, and it's pretty amazing with what they came up in the end. Because from my side, I think in the last 2 months or so, I think why don't they release it? It's already pretty stable, and they keep pushing out more and more revisions of it. So yeah, I was pretty happy with the first result. It's not perfect. It probably will never be perfect, but I think it's for the first release, I think it was really dope.
Dope. Well, yeah, man. I mean, one of the things about it, like these things, I mean, what could be perfect? I still see it as one of the heavy contenders on Beatmaker for iOS. Like, I don't know, it's a pretty powerful joint, and it's not just a sketchbook. But let me go through the panel. Who else we got here? What up, D?
Yo, what up, man?
Good to have you, man. D's like, meh, emoticon.
Nah, man. You know me. I'm very opinionated with this sort of stuff. But I am happy to say that I was excited about. Well, not was. I am excited about Beatmaker 3, just because it kind of opened up some possibilities on the iPad that you had to do with multiple apps. Now you can do them in one.
Word.
And that's the really, really good thing.
Right.
And you know what I mean? It's a sequencer that is very good.
Yeah.
Thank goodness it's not quantized. Because most sequencers on iOS are just 60.
All on the grid, right?
All on the grid. And I was like, man, this is something that I feel like I can get down with.
Yeah.
And sampling in it is pretty cool, but there's a lot of details we'll talk about throughout the show. But man, hi everybody. It's Saturday morning. My wife's not home. Weezy's upstairs, knocked out on the couch. And I love Saturdays where I have nothing to do.
There it is.
And I love to go with my big people, man. It's so awesome.
Word. And we also got Kenneth Flux Pierce.
Hey,
Kenjamin Mutton.
Kenjamin Mutton.
So first off, let me just say, is it really, really loud where I'm at?
We can hear you, but we also hear a little we hear the background noise, but it's not. We can still hear you.
I'll be muting in and out. So I'm doing this completely mobile from my phone right now, and I'll show you guys where I'm at. I am at the Philadelphia Synthesizer meetup. Lots of cool stuff out here. You see Jesse from the Module right there. Here, Copper Traces is here. So some really cool stuff, and just kind of showing stuff off and explaining things, learning things. I'll be speaking on a panel at 3 o'clock. So if I cut out of here early, it's because I'm getting ready to go speak on that. But yeah, man, Beatmaker. Been messing with it for about a week now. It's pretty interesting. I got a lot of thoughts on it, but I also have a lot of questions on it too. I'm still I was actually really surprised because I sent a message out. I sent a message out the other day to Intua, just as a regular customer, just asking some questions, and they are super responsive. So I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, they seem like cool guys over there, man. Let's move through the panel. Who else we got? Joe, what's going on,
What
brother?
up? Yo, chilling, man. Trying to stay warm, trying to stay cool. It's like 100 and something degrees out here in Kansas this week, man.
Oh, and if it's in Kansas, then it's muggy heat too, huh?
Yeah, brother. So yeah, I'm just drinking water, staying cool, ready to talk about these Beatmaker 3, man.
Oh, you know what, Joe? When we get off the show, I'm gonna hit you up just because I may have some things in my future that may take me to Kansas.
Let me know, brother.
So
let me know.
Yeah, no doubt.
Definitely.
It'd be dope to chill with you, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Stony, what's going on? Hey, Stony, what's going on?
You said something to me, Corey?
Stony,
come out to play.
You know, I knew that she would respond when I called her.
Oh yeah, of course.
Here we go.
Benjamin calls, Stony listens.
Yo, so listen, guys, real quick. I wanted to I got a special guest with me, and he jumped on Beatmaker 3 also. I don't know if you guys know a super producer, Ivan Barrios, Jill Scott, Music Soul Child. He does all that stuff, but he's like crazy on the Beatmaker and the iPad apps also. So he gonna say what's up to everybody.
What's up, yo? What's going on, fellas?
What's up, bro?
I'm good.
Welcome to the show, man.
I'm sitting here listening to y'all pontificate on the software. Listening to Stony got it in the background.
Oh yeah.
How y'all doing, man?
We good, man. Have you checked out Beatmaker 3?
Yes, I downloaded it. I definitely. You know, it's funny. I've been using it since Beatmaker 1.
Okay.
Back when like 07, 08 when I had my first iPhone.
Dope.
So the new one is definitely like I like the layout because I use the push.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and it is very push reminiscent.
I like the layout because I use the push, and it's got a similar concept to it.
Right. No doubt, man. Yeah, they really put a lot into it for iOS app. I mean, yeah, it's pretty powerful, and it does. I remember I was chatting with Stony on Marco Polo, and she just happened to show her screen. Not like I'll have Beatmaker 3 here too, but just when she showed the screen, I was like, "What's that? You got push on your lap?" It was like, "Nah, that's Beatmaker 3," and it does have a very familiar interface that way.
It's definitely very intuitive. I'm definitely gonna dig in a lot more than what I've been digging on.
Mm-hmm. Yo,
cool, man. I'm sitting here chopping stuff up in the kitchen right now.
Yeah, I heard it. I've been waiting to jump in.
We making guacamole and music.
Yo, yeah. I heard the night slice, and y'all know I be liking to be in the kitchen. Right? I heard it. I was waiting for him to stop talking and ask him what was going down. I'm like, yeah, I hear that. Them was uniform slices, boy.
I'm mad that St. Joe, out of everything, he's like harnessing like the sound of knives.
Yeah, it's like
that's a show in itself, Joe.
Hey,
you know, cooking and beats, talk and cooking.
Hey, let's do that.
Yeah, no doubt. So yo, let me ask y'all, man. So first impressions so far. You know, we could just kind of jump in. Whoever want to jump in. First impressions so far on Beatmaker 3.
Oh, for me, real quick. I mean, my first impression was I love the layout. I love like Ivan just said. You know, it had a lot of. I felt like it was the mixture between a lot of push features and a lot of machine features. Also, the way that the groups were set up. And I like the fact that you can have 64 pads. I just like the functionality of it. And first impressions, I just felt like a couple of things were a little cumbersome in terms of getting sound into the program and having to like scroll through different pages and things like that. I thought that the workflow was a little bit, it was a bit much, but if that's your only like source of making tracks, all in one, I think it definitely is definitely something that somebody that's all they use, they should have that.
For sure.
That's what I thought. What you think?
I agree. I think it's a good sketch pad in terms of getting your ideas out. It really, for someone who's for entry level piece of as a compositional tool for someone who's really like getting into it as an entry level piece is great because it really shows you from the jump the difference between a beat machine and having a studio. Like it really, to me, is the best entry level tool for you to actually wanting to graduate to a DAW. So you start seeing how everything is mapped out, how everything is laid out as far as the effects, as far as like building your arrangement out. It's a gateway to a DAW. So I think that in itself, for the price point, is it's not bad for someone that's just starting out and is just trying to figure out how to jump into the pool, so to speak.
Yep.
So I think that's the strongest for that.
I could agree with that. I could agree with it, definitely. And I mean, and think about it too, to have all of those features where, like you said, it is kind of like gateway to a DAW. So to have those DAW-like features and you know, typical beat machine type features all in one place for, you know, an iOS device for the price.
Right.
You know, I don't know if there's anything with that full feature set like that for that price.
You know, I think for me,
Corey,
the first thing I noticed was it runs on my iPad too, which is dope. Because a lot of these new apps don't run on my iPad 2. I'm still on the old school, like not iPad Air 2. I'm talking about iPad 2, like the second one, and that joint loads up and works fine. So for me, that was dope.
Dope. Yeah, I got.
Do you have a lot of slowdown because of that? Like, I mean, have you noticed
the only thing that's slow for me is when it first opens. After that, it just moves. Actually, I feel like it runs better than Beatmaker 2 for me. Like,
that's wild.
You know, when I'm tapping on the pads and everything, I can get a lot better groove than I can with Beatmaker 1. So for some reason, it's more efficient for me. I mean, than Beatmaker 2.
Dope. So that's kind of dope that it's an improvement on you know, Beatmaker 2. I mean, because Beatmaker 2 was a huge thing for a lot of cats. I mean, I know cats that only have iOS and that are making you know, dope beats with only iOS, and so a lot of cats was waiting with bated breath for this. So to even see that there's an improvement on what everybody else was already digging is dope in itself. Anybody else got any like first impressions, or you know, for instance, like well, whoever want to jump in.
I have a quick thought. So I don't know for sure about all this yet, so I don't want anybody to jump all over me or take my word for gospel on this. But I will say that the way that the pads are laid out now, from what I've been able to understand, is each pad is basically like its own environment. Like you can have anything from a plugin on it, which that's another thing, is that it uses straight up plugins in it. Like you can load synthesizers into it without even having to use audio bus, which is wild. Like I don't know, maybe I'm just unaware that there's other apps that do that, but I haven't seen it like that.
Yeah, there are.
You know,
there's
like
other ones.
Outside of like things like tabletop, kind of more specific. I think this was really interesting in how it did it. So I was using that, and I started noticing that because each pad is its own environment, you can do some really deep stuff. I'm hoping to be able to import full-on multi-sampled patches into it. I don't know the whole process just yet, and I'll probably be talking with Intuit about it, but it could be a really powerful platform as beyond just being a song creation thing, but being a environment to store everything that you're going to play if you're going to play on stage. So you could just select a patch and jump between different synthesizers and jump between different sounds and whatnot and just play, which is crazy.
Yeah,
that would be dope.
I think at the moment it's just WAV and AIFF files that you can import and layer, so there's no sound fonts and stuff like that. But I think that's a real nice, that would be a nice upgrade in the future if you could load sound fonts or even sampler patches or stuff like that. So that would be really nice.
Or just have it read the metadata of files so that I can quickly layer them in. Because you can actually, so I was importing a lot of my own drum kits already, and you can just drag entire folders from Dropbox, drop it into the browser, and it'll auto import it. Now, it could use a little tidying up in the browser area to make things a little bit easier to search for, but you can drag whole folders in there, and if I can do that, it would be cool if I could drag a whole folder onto a pad and then have it search out the metadata and map it out for me, you know? Like if I already have crossfading, the pads in there already have crossfading. They already have just about everything that you would want to see in something like a contact instrument, you know?
Mm-hmm. What I really like is that it's also supporting multi-timbral plugins like Gadget. Today I had a session and I imported 6 tracks from Gadget into a group and mixed it in Beatmaker and combined it with other plugins and stuff. So, and it was so easy. It basically worked like working with, for example, Contact in a regular DAW. So you just route your MIDI channels to the app, and you're good to go. And it's everything in the same environment. That's super dope.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yo, Ken, Matthew Garcia from Intua is actually in the chat. And I asked him, can you use multi-sample instruments? He says if you drop samples with metadata on the mapping zones, it'll auto-map them for you. So he says, yeah, it reads bass key, low, high key, etc.
So what I want to know is, can I drag multiple samples all at once onto one pad and then have it auto do that?
I'll ask him. We'll see.
And I'll wait for the response, because if it can do that, you will see me jump higher than you've ever seen a white man jump before. I'm just saying.
Wait, higher than Woody Harrelson?
Higher than Woody Harrelson. Can everybody hear everything okay? Because I'm hearing somebody in the chat said this is unwatchable because there's noise. I'm wondering if it's on their end or
it's unwatchable because of noise.
Yeah, because I mean, I
wonder if it's me.
It's unwatchable because of noise. Yeah, I think we're fine. That may be something on that end.
I don't know. I don't
hear anything negative, dude.
I think, Ken, your mic is breaking up a little bit, but
yeah, I don't think it's something. Okay, so Ken, Matthew said if you drop that, well, he said not yet. Actually, the Mac OS already does, but Mac OS version. Oh, so there's a Mac OS version?
Yeah, at the moment it's just for the sound designers, but I think there will be a port in the future. I thought I heard something like that.
Oh, that's different.
That actually, I was thinking that. I was saying like, yo, this thing is so powerful that it's almost like they're outgrowing the iOS platform. You know what I mean? Like with the feature set.
Since they're working with AU and stuff like that, I think it's not so hard anymore to port things from the iOS version to the Mac version and vice versa. So I think the developers have a little bit less work. I have the Mac version here actually because I did a sound pack for them. At the moment, basically, it's the same iPad version with mouse support, so you can use your mouse to click around. But it's for designing stuff. It makes it a little bit easier. Just drag and drop sounds from the hard disk to the pads. And
wait, can I ask Mike? Can I ask you a question? Is the browser different in the Mac?
The Mac version? On the Mac version?
Yes.
No, not at the moment. It's basically exactly the same thing than on the iPad.
Okay.
It's just at the moment. It's just a port for the sound designers to make life a little bit easier for them.
Yeah, but there's hope. But there's hope. That's why when you said it's a Mac version, that means like, oh, that browser might be a little bit different just because it'll integrate with the file system in Mac. So
yeah, Daniel, let's touch on that. Like, what's your thoughts on the browser system?
Okay,
just real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to check if the person who commented about the noise could comment now, because I went into a sound booth, so I'm literally in a sound proof booth. So hopefully my noise is gone, and hopefully that improves.
Yeah, I don't hear any background noise on you.
Yeah, I don't hear anything. So Corey, I think my issue isn't necessarily with Beatmaker 3. My issue is with iOS's file system as a whole when it comes to getting any content into any of these apps for music creation. I know in iOS 11 there's going to be a whole new Mac file system, but I will have to see how I feel when that's implemented. for real, like with all these music making apps, because right now sometimes you got to either go through Dropbox or through the whole iTunes sharing, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that, because for me, when it comes to making music, it's all about workflow and not stopping my creative process. And if I want to bring in a sample and I got to go through 3 different apps to import something into my software, I'm just like, oh, I'm not creative. I don't even want to make beats anymore. I'm just going to go watch Netflix.
But
Daniel, may I interrupt you? Because I think the main problem, and this is a little bit tricky at the moment, but the main problem I see people is if they import something from Dropbox, they want to search it from the sample page. The trick is all your imported folders will show up under the documents section, and then you can browse all your folders as you imported them with the same name.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think the sample page, the sample browser page is whack.
Yeah,
It's horrible. That sample browser page is horrible. I don't like that in machine either. I don't like seeing a whole bunch of just samples.
Yeah,
and
it would be nice to have categories or some kind of way to keep a filter.
Automatically tag at least my user samples in the browser is a problem for me.
Actually, let me share my screen with you guys, and I show this to you.
Oh, sure, man.
And I agree. So when you go to the sample page, it's just a list of all the samples you have. And sure, you can browse for the file name, but you need to know how the files are named.
Exactly.
You could go ahead and start tagging your own sounds with the tagging system in here, so you can select different sounds.
But you can't add tags.
What do you say?
Can you add your own tags?
Yes, I think so. When you go to add category right here, or at least you can use the few categories they give to you. I don't think there's a way to add your own at the moment. Yeah, but actually there's a way easier way. So when you imported a folder, you can go to your documents section and then to your samples, and here show up all your folders, and that makes browsing for the sounds you want a little bit easier.
Yeah, that's how I ended up. That's how I ended up doing it too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but it's really hidden in the documents page, because I think documents is just not the right term. People would start searching for their folders. So but that way you can browse it pretty quickly, and that's what I do most of the time.
Yeah, that's what I ended up doing too. But it's just that whole samples page. I don't see how it's useful at all. Especially if it throws all your multi samples in there. Also, it's like
so Joe, that was the issue for me. So I'm one of those dudes that the way that I search for sounds is I don't import the whole kit. Like I don't import the whole kit. I'll pick a kick and a snare. So when I'm going into my Dropbox, I'm not trying to put that whole folder into
No, it's not about using that whole folder. It's just about importing your whole sound pack at first, and then you start picking from that folders.
Oh no, I feel you, but you still got to import. So like you go to Dropbox, you can pick the sounds, but I got to know the names of them. I got to know what they sound like. I'm not one of those dudes. I just start browsing and start clicking sounds and auditioning it.
I know what you mean, but it needs a little bit of preparation. So what I most of the time do is I have my favorite sounds on my Mac, and let's say I have a folder with 20 kicks I like the most, and I just copy this over to Dropbox. I import all the kicks to Beatmaker, and if I need a kick, I browse that one folder with my favorite kicks, and I have them ready to browse.
No, I feel you. I think for me, I'm the dude that has 7 million kicks.
Word.
Okay.
So I have 7 million kicks, and I wish I could just plug in a flash drive into my iPad and just use that as a drive with all my drum sounds.
Yeah, that will probably be possible with the new file system, but that will take a longer while.
No, and I feel you. It's just that's what I'm saying. The workflow is that we're used to having hard drives, flash drives, compact flash drive, all with stuff readily available to audition. And that speeds up our workflow. This actually takes us backwards, where we got to import. We won't be able to hear it until we import. And then, assigning. So I'm like, kind of slowed me down. I was like, honestly, Machine or Ableton is a little faster, because I can just preview from the file system that is the desktop or the hard drive in the computer.
So is that that's more of a iOS thing than BeatMaker 3?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's an iOS thing because iOS always has you
Achilles heel of the whole iOS BeatMaker or music making.
Yeah, bro. iOS always has you import before hearing, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I hear that. Another thing for me on the browser is I don't understand why the factory or even the packs that you buy from the BeatMaker 3 shop, why are they not tagged? Like the factory, factory samples, no tags. Unless for me, like I have no tags already in my, I can't browse anything by tag unless I go in and tag it myself.
Yeah.
I mean, even factory kicks. Like if I want to see their factory kicks, I just have to go through a list of factory kicks and a C note and an A flat note, and like, for me that's frustrating. I figured out the whole documents thing, and I organize my stuff, in the samples folder and just make my own folders. But just that samples browsers, it's I don't know, it's kind of weird to me.
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's just different.
Like, yeah, and for the wordful question, Daniel, I used to be exactly working like you. I had like 2 million samples, but I just started sorting my samples in a new way because I get so much sample packs for reviewing and stuff like that. So my hard disk was cluttered with sounds, and actually it took me more time to browse through all the packs until I find the right sound than just slimming down my whole collection to maybe 200 favorite sounds and just keep using them.
I feel you. I totally, man, I just think since I do a lot of multi-genre stuff, like tomorrow I'm doing a jazz record. The day after I'm doing a indie pop rock, record on the next day. So for me, I have to have access to an entire huge library of different things. And I'm like, man, all right, so now I'm going to get on iOS. How am I going to be able to have access to all that? And I understand I can have access to it through Dropbox, but I can't make quick decisions with Dropbox.
Right, because you have to import first, then hear it. Right. Yeah.
But
I will say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. But to be fair, in other apps, there's not even Dropbox import.
Oh no, I feel you.
Like audio share and all this other stuff, and this was really killing
my. I'm spoiled, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm spoiled. Like for real, like I'm spoiled, man. I have like the best of everything when it comes to like making beats, and it's just like because Oh no, go ahead.
When I got the first beta version and I saw they added Dropbox import, the first thing I said to them, please make it import whole folders. And not let me import single sounds from Dropbox. And so for me, this is a little bit like heaven at the moment.
Oh no,
and not to mention, one thing that I liked about it is that I imported a zip folder from my Dropbox and put it into my imports as like its own thing, like a folder of. I think what it did is it made a folder of the name of the zip file in the imports folder and documents. And I was like, that. There's some things I use on a computer that won't do that.
Right. I think the Dropbox integration, man, is, at least for me, the best in any app, because I was expecting, when I first hit Dropbox, I was expecting it to wait and kind of, try to, because I got a bunch of stuff in my Dropbox. I was expecting it to take forever. That joint just popped up. It feels like it's on my iPad.
Yeah, like it's a local folder.
I feel you. But I'm just saying, guys, I'm a spoiled beat brat, like for real. Like I also remember my turnaround time, the turnaround time that I have to turn in tracks, like somebody will hit me up today and I have to turn it in tonight.
Right.
So for me, I'm just like, I need fast integration. And that's why iOS is kind of, I know it's not there yet, and I know I have to put those limitations on my thinking when it comes to iOS. That's why I use it a lot for sound design, and because then I can integrate it into my entire system.
Yeah, I see, it's for me, it's just a tool to sketch out ideas. It's not a full producing environment yet. When you have
the interesting thing about that, Mike, is that although I can see why we would say that it's a good sketch tool, but I know people that have used BeatMaker 2 as like, boom, that's it. That's what I made that with.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about myself. Can do that for sure, but you have to deal with all the limitations.
Yeah.
It's just not as comfortable yet as working with a computer. And for me, as I in the beginning, I was like, yeah, I miss this and I miss this feature and I miss that feature, but now I see, you know, it's like a painter. When a painter goes out, a lot of them just have a little sketchbook and a pen and not their full color palettes and their whole set of brushes when they go out. So it's just a point of view. If you're looking for like a full featured, easy to use, super comfortable way, then a laptop might still be a better choice for you. But if you need something that is super compact and you can get started super quickly, then I think it works great.
Well, here's what I'll tell you, Mike. Compared to where we were a couple years ago, this is an amazing tool to make music. So I'm not complaining about the progression of what this is. For me, it's just the functionality of being a dude that works in the studio with professional gear. And then for you to tell me like, oh no, you can make beats just as well on this thing, which is true, but the workflow is something that you have to get your head around. Because man, let me tell you, I'm all about workflow. I'm all about, can I press this and this happens?
Exactly.
So for me, it could be an amazing tool, but if the menu system is horrible, that's why, like, we talk about the Electron stuff all the time. Amazing tools,
super amazing tools.
But some of us can't get with the menu diving and trying to make one thing happen that we can do with one button on machine. It takes three buttons on an Electron machine. So I'm like fumbling, but these are all good, but it depends on, are you willing to bend yourself to that workflow?
That's what
hey, you know, another thing too, what kind of controllers? Okay, so let me just say, the interface of iPad, there's something that's real dope about, you know, the touching the screen and being able to slide across things and the whole touch surface. But sometimes I don't necessarily like the idea of, you know, you get used to the feel of the rubber on your fingers when tapping pads and stuff. So there's probably going to be a lot of people who use this with controllers. Has anybody tried it with any controllers out there?
Also, there's a velocity when you use the screen too, because it's just full velocity when you hit it.
Oh yeah, it's full velocity when you hit the screen.
They threw in that velocity thing for the pads, man, where you can you know, play like that.
You can.
It's dope. Like for me, because velocity is huge for me. I don't like full velocity at all. So by them throwing that in there, where I can just play my hi-hats or play my kicks with velocity like that, that was dope. Like I like that.
Yeah, it's really dope. So I mapped this to BeatMaker 3, and I also mapped my OP1 to BeatMaker 3, and it works great. Like,
so I tried these two.
Yo, you busted out the Cuneo?
Yeah, I busted out the Cuneo.
Oh, word? Oh, man, you gotta let me know how the Cuneo worked with it.
Well,
I never made it out to go get it, man.
Yeah, we were supposed to hook up so I could give this to Rod when he started beta testing, and we never got a chance to hook up. And then so when I got the license last week, I was like, oh, well, I got Cuneo. I'll just check that out with it. But you know what? It integrates. Oh, word. What's up, Sam? But it integrates pretty nicely with it. But you know what? I think it's just my Cuneo. There's something about the Cuneo that triggers constantly, and it doesn't mean that the pads are on loop. You know how you can have a program in BeatMaker where the pads, each pad has a loop forward or backward or whatever it is. I made sure it was just on one shot or no loop.
Oh, right.
And even so, when I hit it on the screen, it's fine. It's just a one shot. But when I hit it with Cuneo, depending on the velocity you hit it with, it just re-triggers nonstop. It's just crazy. As long as your finger on it re-triggers. So I don't know. That could just be something with my Cuneo. I don't know.
There are still a few glitches with MIDI controllers, but today they sent me the latest beta, and they said there will be a lot of MIDI improvements with it.
Okay.
So I heard some people using BeatStep Pro had some problems with it. But
Okay.
I hooked up the key step, that worked pretty good. And what I really like is I didn't dig too much into the MIDI mapping mode, but if I understand it right, they have this focus mode, which works like the Studio Link in no Control Link in Studio One. So
Right.
you can have a bunch of knobs and you can map it to everything that is in focus differently, and it switches when you change the view.
Yeah,
So that's something I wish Ableton or Machine would add. I mean, Machine has it kind of similar with the mappings, but nobody does it as good as Studio One on the desktop computer.
Yeah.
So that's really nice that you have an iPad app that actually beats a lot of desktop apps feature-wise. And all beating desktop apps feature-wise, we have time stretch with Beatmaker.
Yeah.
So that's pretty dope. And it's working actually really good. It sounds really good.
I haven't got a chance to try the time stretch yet, but you know what was funny about that is like having that time stretch on it, especially when there's so many more revered companies that are just getting to a point where they have time stretch, or either there's put things out there that are supposed to be for beat makers or sample heads that don't have time stretch, which is kind of crazy. So that shows you that Beatmaker 3 is already kind of ahead of that curve. That it even has that in the first place.
Most definitely. Yeah, no.
Don't even get us started on that joint, man.
Yeah, I think overall, man, like it's a really dope. They really did a good job with it. I really like the interface. You guys know I'm huge on interface. I really like the way it looks. I like the mixer. I like the way that you can, because I was like, okay, am I only gonna be able to, add and control the whole group? It's like, no, you can show all the pads, and I can go and add an effect on individual pads and do different stuff like that. Like that's dope. Like I said, for me, the main thing is I'm like workflow. And so a lot of it for me, the things where I get hung up is kind of the different steps. Like if I'm looking at the pads and I want to add a sample to a pad, I want to just be able to go to the browser instead of having to go into the sample and then browse from the sampler and stuff like that. Like little simple things like that, or even the way that you switch from focusing on the pattern and then you go back to the bank. Like if I touch the pattern, I'm on the pattern. I would imagine if I touch the bank, it should go back to the bank, but no, I have to touch the pattern again to get off the, like little stuff like that for me is what hangs up. Not so much huge things like feature wise, that joint is, I don't know anything that's honestly touching it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's for me, it's always small things that hinder my workflow, make me go, man, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the little things like that, like the browser and the tagging and the sample list and all that different type of stuff. And
that's kind of one of those things, like you mentioned with the pad, with the effects, like you could add an effects to a pad. Now, when you do that though, like I'm looking at it right now, and it says create layer effect, right? You got your 4 layers there for that particular pad, and then
which is talking about in the mixer.
In the mixer, okay.
Yeah, in the mixer.
Okay.
So if you got a kit loaded up and you're in the mixer, you can say show pads, and then you show the effects, and now you can add effects on each individual pad. So
dope.
It's
oh yeah, okay, I see that now. I see. Yeah, that's
dope.
Yep.
I can show it real quick. So there are actually multiple layers of effects. So you can have in the sampler itself, you can load different filters. So that's basically the lowest step. Then you can have the layer effects where you have like a bit crusher, overdrive, but only these 4 effects are available. And then, do you see my screen, guys?
Yeah, I have your screen on. Yeah.
And then in the mixer, that's where you really
but
can.
it's not changing though.
Yeah, nothing's changing for me. I thought maybe I was the only one, so I didn't say anything.
Oh,
yeah, it's just a still screen, dude.
Mouse moving now, but yeah.
Oh no, I should.
Not.
Actually, that was the iOS version of Beatmaker. I just showed to you. I need to go to where's my
I'm kind of jealous that you're using the mouse on BeatMaker. Why that I'm jealous about that, I don't know. But again, it's the spoiled me, yo. I'm sorry, yo. Like, I'm like,
in D's mind, it's like, I don't like using mice on BeatMaker. Well, wait a minute, you using a mouse? I want to use a mouse on BeatMaker. Come, I can't use a mouse on BeatMaker.
Actually, it's a little bit weird at the moment because you start clicking on things and you have to think it's like clicking with the finger. So it's not exactly like in the desktop app. So let me see. Now you should be able to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So so let me go back here. So on the sample page, you have on the sampler side, on the bottom right, there's this filter section where you can choose different filters. Then you have the layer effects, where you only have these 4 effects available at the moment. And then there's the mixer. And here you can go crazy. So you can go for each group. You have the effects section. And basically, there's no limitation in how many effects you want to add to that bank. That's really, if your CPU can handle it, you can keep adding effects forever.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, it's dope, man. And then you can go to each individual pad and do that.
Exactly. You can double tap on the bank, and then it opens up the mixer. So you have all your single tracks.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you can do it on every pad. I think you have to use the aux sends for this.
I thought I clicked on the pads, man, and I was able to add effect. Maybe it was just for the group, and I thought it was going to add it to the.
It's for the group, but you can have up to 8 send effects.
Gotcha.
So,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I knew you could do the sends for some reason. Yeah.
So you can add the send effects, and as you can see, it's 8 of them. So.
Right. That's absolutely nuts. 8 of them per instrument on a group. I mean,
well, Corey, that's why I was telling you. That's why I use my my MIDI fighter twister to do that exact same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, man, let me map this joint to all those sends and knobs so that I can just start doing live effect stuff while my beat is playing.
That's what's up.
And yeah, man, it worked really well.
Yeah.
And what's also really dope is if you use like a multi-channel USB audio interface with it, you have this in and output section, and you can route sounds to different outputs of the interface.
Yep.
So you can use it like a multi-channel effects processor and use it with your desktop. And
that's what's up.
Yeah. No, it's dope, man. Like functionality wise, they did like I don't know anything that's touching it in terms of the power and the different things the amount of things that you can do. For me, like I said, it's just a few things that I think could be polished up a little bit on the workflow side to make things a little bit smoother and just to kind of match the interface. The interface is so smooth and sleek. And it's like some things take, a few steps that I feel like could be cut out here and there. So.
Yeah, I think there will be a lot of improvements with the next updates, and when you look at in the forums, with a lot of people made really good feature suggests already, and they as Ken said, they're super responsive and they really listen to what people want.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I got one thing, Mike. So I made a bunch of kits in Beatmaker 2.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason I can't transfer them joints over.
Actually, I never tried it myself, but from what I heard, it will be totally possible to import your Beatmaker 2 kits to Beatmaker 3. Maybe Rod, did you try it?
I did try it, and I wasn't able to either. I tried to open up a couple Beatmaker 2 projects, and that didn't work either.
No, not the projects, but I think the sound.
No, right. Yeah, I'm saying, but I tried that as well, and neither of them worked. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I have to ask the guys. There should be a way, but a lot of people. I heard from a lot of people that they were not able to find their sounds from Beatmaker 2, and maybe they find a way to implement an easier import because it totally makes sense.
Well, I think that's down to the iOS file system again, because each app is its own thing. Like, imagine the guys over into it could come up with like some type of bulk export from Beatmaker 2 and make it some type of file. You know what I'm saying? And then you can just export your stuff from there and then go into Beatmaker 3 and import. Like it would take them to do something like that, because I don't see any way for the apps to talk to each other for you to browse it, just because of how iOS is. It's each app is its own container.
That's always been a downside on iOS.
Yeah, but based on what they've done, man, like there's no doubt that they could figure out a way to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't doubt it, because so far everything else they've come up with is pretty dope.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, what definitely works is you can load Beatmaker 2 as a plugin into Beatmaker 3 and resample it. So if it's just a kit you're missing from Beatmaker 2, you could load it up and just record all the 16 pads really quick, slice it up, and you have it in Beatmaker.
I feel you, but then that's that whole I'm opening up a DAW in a DAW to.
Yeah, I know. I'm just offering a solution. I'm not saying
It would be a one-time action for that specific thing, though.
I feel you.
That's a really specific task.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm with D though. No,
I'm a black man playing a black man, pretending to be a black man.
Exactly. Yeah, man.
I'm just saying.
I'll tell you though, the whole slicing thing on it and everything is just it looks really promising. I haven't given enough time to be dedicated to just like having my iPad, an audio interface, and a record player so that I can just workflow.
Yeah, I need to get.
But so far from what I've seen,
no, it works, guys. This is the best tool that I have for slicing samples in Beatmaker.
Hell yeah, I agree.
That's dope.
Because
I don't have
my
it.
finger is not going to be real precise in Beatmaker. I was like, man, let me slice this snare drum. End up slicing the kick like a bar before it.
Yeah.
You ain't lying, dude.
So I was like, you know what? I got this Apple Pencil. Let me see how this works. Man, this has saved my life in Beatmaker 3. I was like, I'm here like ha.
Slapping the crap out of these snares.
Now, actually, you mentioned it. I used to work with a graphics tablet in Ableton, and it made MIDI editing a lot more fun than with the mouse.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to try that joint. Woo! Thank you for telling me that. I'm about
You
to try
came
that
up with
joint.
it yourself.
Yeah.
You came up with it.
No, but I'm saying on Ableton. I haven't tried it on Ableton, like, because I'm one of those random I just like to draw random things and see what happens. So
Yeah.
if that's gonna I'm gonna draw random MIDI smiley faces, see what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Also, drawing in automations with a graphics pen is much easier than with the mouse.
So then I'm seeing that Intua should be making editing pens, Beatmaker 3 editing pens.
Yeah,
Maybe they can come up with some.
when you go like this, it's undo.
Yeah, there you go. No
Boom.
doubt.
Maybe
That's
they
dope.
can come up with some drumsticks.
There it
Did you
is.
guys see there was those wireless drumsticks?
Oh, I used to have them joints. I would annoy the hell out of my wife with them joints.
With the air drumstick.
Yeah, I walk around. I think all day, man. Just annoying my wife, man. It's hilarious.
Hey Rod, so I don't know if cats realized, but I wanted to mention you had like the most popular Beatmaker 2 tutorial video, right? Or one of the most popular. I don't know.
It's up in like 300, 400 views, I think. But it was only
1,000.
Yeah, 1,000. Sorry.
That's funny.
John's like, let's be correct on these numbers.
So I got mine on an iPad Mini. Yours is on the big joint, right? The iPad XL. How's that screen compare? Because what'd you have before, like a regular iPad?
It was iPad 2 that I was working on before. Yeah.
Okay. Is it much better to have it on the big screen there?
It is, but dude, the slicing was still infuriating. Like, for whatever reason, my finger was just too fat even on this bigger screen. So I busted out the pencil just like Steel did.
Dope.
And, yeah, it's dope though.
How do you guys add slices? I mean, there are two ways.
Yeah,
Pull up your screen, Mike.
That was the thing, dude. Like, I was kind of frustrated with that at first because it was two ways to do it, and well, I don't know if you can see. Like I was tapping up here, dude. Above the line is where I would tap to add like that.
Okay.
And that's the easiest way I've found.
Okay, but then there are three ways. Because what I find out what is in my opinion the most comfortable way is don't tap on the top, drag down and hold your finger on the screen, and then you can still move the slice.
Oh right. Yeah, I thought.
And I mean, there's the way I don't like is I think there's this little scissors icon on the sample page where you can tap in. Yeah, that I don't like that way. But when you
scissor needs to go.
When you just drag down the slices and move them around, I think that's pretty.
You have to activate it like that, right? Like I can't just drag down if the scissors aren't.
No, you have to be in the slice mode.
Yeah.
You have to activate slice mode.
Oh, you're talking about the scissors down here?
No, on the top. Yeah, the big one.
Yeah.
Ken is just stealing the image again. And then let me change to the screen.
Okay. Rod is like, that's what he does.
So let's say
wrong.
Hey, that looks good, man, on that big screen like that. Can
you guys see it pretty well? I'm not.
Because I have an iPad Mini. So, that's a stark difference.
Hey, if Apple want to drop off one of them iPad Pros, the 1000 Gear Lab, I wouldn't be mad.
Word, I feel you.
So when you in the slice mode, you just basically you tap on the timeline and hold it and drag it down, and then you can move it freely.
Right.
What
were you talking about? The scissors, the way you don't like. Which one's the one you don't like?
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah, those suck, dude. I don't like that.
Then you can just tap.
Get rid of those scissors.
Yeah, I did not like that at all. That was the most frustrating one for me.
Yeah.
Yo, what they need to do is that manual chop. Just let me play the sample and tap it into the pads.
That would be nice.
Yep.
I bet they'll add it, man. I bet they'll add it. Like,
no, of course, because
I just don't see anything that these cats can't do. Just looking at this app and what they've done so far, it's like, all right.
Yeah, they seem to have their mind right for it too. That's the big thing. Is a lot of these companies that are making these things, they're not really using them in any similar way to hip hop producers. So, you know, when you see somebody who clearly gets it, change.
Mm-hmm.
But they're definitely
working on it.
What's up, Rod?
So this page was probably the most frustrating page for me when my first impressions. Along with this slicing, which it's gotten better, but like the groups, when you go to set stuff in groups, here is where I would like to select, like, let's say I wanted to group these two kicks. You can't select multiple pads here, even when you tap select. Like, it just doesn't make.
Yeah, there's no multiple select. I saw that too.
Yeah, that was annoying. And then like you can look at your samples. Well, I don't have anything multi-layered, but if there was 3 in here and I decided I didn't want the one in the middle, I couldn't just delete it, dude. Like, that was pretty frustrating. I think they may have fixed that by now, but last time I checked, I couldn't just delete the middle sample. I had to wipe out the entire pad.
So it's
hey guys, I gotta run. I gotta get ready to go do my panel talk, but I'll check you guys later. And
make sure somebody records it. Make sure it's recorded.
Yeah, they recorded it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to, but I'm lazy, so we'll see what's up. I did bring my camera.
That thing. So. Somebody, as many cameras is running around.
I think somebody from the university's recording it, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah. Anyway, so check out fluxwithit.com. Peace. Wait, this way. Sorry.
So, you know, Matthew just happened. I wanted to go back to the controllers right quick. Matthew he mentioned in the chat that Matthew from Intua, when he used his QNEO, it sends like a lot of MIDI data for some reason. So that's something that I guess he's going to be working on. But at the same time, Sam said right after that so there's noise problems. Hey, people in the chat, can you how you hear us? Can you hear us at all? Or is it crackling in the sound?
I was hearing a lot of crackles. I was hearing lots of crackles. I don't hear anything anymore.
I hear crackles from you, Rod.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
too.
but everybody else seems to sound okay.
Yeah, Rod, your mic sound.
Rod's like, I hear all this crackling. I think it's over there.
Yeah, your mic sound like it's in a bag of chips.
So they said in the chat that everything sounds pretty well except for Anthony. So Rod, I think you may have the crackling over there.
Your mic sound like
good, man. It's like vinyl static. So hey, we talking about.
I haven't used this damn this webcam in probably 2 years.
So yeah, but Sam was saying that his Q-Neo works fine. He got a template for it. So yo, Sam, if you still listening out there, I want to check that template out. Maybe
man, you know Sam be digging into like the metadata of everything.
Yeah, he probably reprogrammed the whole damn thing.
He'd be like, what I did was I went into the code.
Yeah.
That's right.
I got it working perfect. Like, bruh.
It's not even a Q-Neo no more. It's not even a Q-Neo no more. That joint he got a full running MPC 7000 over there on it.
You got a custom firmware for the Q-Neo.
I added the SP12 2017.
He got audio inputs on that joint.
Hey, but didn't he used to work for Keith McMillan's?
Sam is a man. Sam's a man.
Yeah, don't tell him. He probably knows something to do with the Q-Neo. I think he may have even been around when this thing first came out with Q-Neo them. Hey, and the other thing is what I like, and this is probably not revolutionary for anybody. This joint is Bluetooth, right?
Yep.
So I had my iPad connected to my Bluetooth iLoud speaker, and then I was thinking like, I probably can't use this because it probably ain't gonna see that Bluetooth too. But I was able to use both of them, so I was able to use the MIDI from this as a Bluetooth MIDI controller and use my Bluetooth speaker. So I thought that was dope. But that may not be something that's super revolutionary, but I was happy I was able to do it.
What kind of latency were you getting from your iLoud? Because I tried it with my iLoud, and the pad would hit, like I would hear the sound like a couple milliseconds after I would hit the pad.
You know what? I did get some latency from that, and I wasn't sure if it was latency from what I was tapping or like, you know what I mean? I wasn't too sure if it was actually the speaker or not. So I haven't tried it with my headphones to really see, because that was a frustrating thing, but you may be right. It may have been the Bluetooth speaker.
I think that's Apple's Bluetooth, dude. Because like anytime I watch something, the audio is always a millisecond off or something. It's just, I think that's just how the Bluetooth works.
I think that's Bluetooth in general.
Yeah. So I mean, well, the I don't know, that was kind of annoying, but I figured it was just something else. I was like, sometimes you can get something that annoys you when you're doing stuff, and you're like, all right, Netflix and chill. Yeah. I don't feel like troubleshooting whatever this is, because it could be something totally different.
Yeah, that's me all the time. The moment something's not working, either I'm real bold and I'll tackle it. I won't sleep that night because I'm trying to figure it out, or I'm just like, you know what? I'm about to go make some waffles. That's the reality. I'm just like, you know what? I ain't got time for this. Waffles. I just make the mix and put it in the waffle bake, and it's done. I'm trying to figure out this latency is gonna take me all day. I ain't trying to. Waffles are more instantaneous.
Yeah,
that's what's up. Hey, so I haven't actually done a lot of sampling into it yet, and I hate that because my week was more busy than I expected it to be. Yeah. But I was hoping to kind of chop some stuff and do some stuff, and I haven't done that. So I'm gonna try to spend some more time with it this coming week and see what I can kind of figure out.
Yeah, my new iPad comes in this week. I got the same one as Rod. I got the 2017 12.9, and yeah, because
it's not any different, is it?
Huh?
Is it? Didn't they?
So
they didn't update the 12.
No, they updated both of them.
Oh shit!
So it has the 120 refresh rate on the screen. 6 core, 4 gigs of RAM. It's USB 3 connector instead of Lightning, but it's still a Lightning connector, but it's USB 3 actual bus in it. Which is dope because I'm going to be doing a lot of my video editing and graphics and all that stuff on my iPad, so I'm excited about that. But Beatmaker I know will run insane on it. So because I've been using a lot of the audio damage plugins, the AU3 on iOS. Man, Man, those joints are amazing.
Yo, do you know I downloaded those? I copped those just because I have Beatmaker 3. I'm like, well, I'm want those in there. I want to be able to use those too.
No, Corey, they're good. Like the EOS 2, the EOS 2 on the iPad, dude. Okay, so I'll share this. I just got the iConnect Audio 4 Plus, right? And one thing that's really dope is that I can send any audio from my computer to my iPad back to my computer. So I'm literally using my iPad as a plug, as an effects processor.
Yeah.
So that's already a game changer for me. I'm like, well, I don't got to buy plugins anymore. I could just buy the less expensive version of it for my iPad.
$10 versions, the $5
you know what
version.
I mean? Like, I could just buy the $5 version for my iPad and just use that as a plugin. And I could send MIDI from my computer to my iPad, and vice versa. I'm sold. That's why I feel like a lot of people hate on iPads for music creation, but you don't realize how dope of a tool it is.
Well, that's the thing. I think some people hate on it as a music production tool if they're not used to that workflow and that environment. But as music production, like the actual production tool. But I think what people don't realize is you could use it as like a music utility, you know, like that supplements your regular studio or your regular beat making process.
Right.
So I've been using Autolus on my iPad, making effects patches in Autolus, and then routing that through Ableton. So I'm making my own crazy delays and reverbs, using that as a send in Ableton. Bro, I don't need to get plugins no more, man. Like, it's just crazy.
I just sold my oscilloscope, my analog oscilloscope, because it took away so much space. I had like one of these really old Hammack oscilloscopes. It took away so much space, and I just found an oscilloscope app for $3. And now I use my iTrack dock. I plug in the iPad, send audio from the computer to it, and have it standing next to my modular. It's exactly the same thing. It's even more precise.
Yo, don't even get me started on the control surfaces on the iPad. Like
Polyplayground.
Yo, Polyplayground is dope. Cordion is dope. A bunch of crazy stuff. And also, since I use Touchable when I don't feel like carrying my push around, man. Yo, Touchable is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Also,
and that, I mean, talking about that, man, like that's another thing that I thought was dope in Beatmaker 3 is the way that they added the whole chords and the scales and all that stuff. Like that's dope, because it's like if you just got your iPad, you can't really get busy on the keys. Like you can do some stuff, but you can't really do, you know what I'm saying? So that makes it really easy to knock out some ideas and not have to pull out a controller, even though, I mean, it's nothing to pull out a controller, but sometimes you just want that right there. So to be able to actually lay down some nice progressions and stuff, man, and
also send MIDI out. Also, you can send MIDI out from all that stuff to all your other gear. So like, if I want to play chords on my whatever Ultranova, I can play the chords in Beatmaker and just sample them joints back in. Yo, super dope. Low key, I wouldn't be mad if Intua, I'm just saying this right now, if y'all would have come out with a hardware device, you know what I'm saying, that goes along with, with your, I'm just saying.
Just saying.
For the old school dudes, you know what I'm saying, that like touching buttons.
Oh, I agree. I'm one of them cats, man. I mean, as much as I love the touch screen, sometimes I just feel like feeling a pad or turning a knob or hitting a button. And there's a lot of stuff out there, but like you said, there's nothing like a purpose-made controller for anything. Anything.
So here's the thing, because I thought about that too, about a purpose-made controller for Beatmaker 3 or Beatmaker in general. But then, you know what, when it comes to the fact that it's an iOS device, how do you think that? Like, obviously, because then at that point, we've seen some companies try to do that, at least one or two. And then iOS, Apple changes something, and it totally invalidates.
You can't make no hardware for iOS stuff because then it's gonna end up being that MPC link.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's say, or the other one. I had the iPad Fly or whatever. I had the iPad controller. I had I had the 49 key joint that you stick the iPad in.
I
remember the name of it now. You see, I don't have it. Yeah, I was like, I thought that was gonna be dope, and I got it. I'm like, Yeah, that thing. I don't even remember the thing. I don't even remember the name of it.
Apple was like, nope, we're using lightning connectors now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no doubt. You go around, you buy all the 30-pin.
You got mad stuff at home with 30 pins. You looking around like, man, how many adapters do I gotta get for all this stuff, man?
I had it for.
But you know what though?
Days,
when they, go for it, Mike.
I said I had it for 2 days, and then I plugged in the iPad, and it was not a lightning connection. It was the old what was it?
30-pin.
30-pin, yeah. And you plugged it in, but it always lost the power connection, and every 2 seconds was like doo-doom. And every time I recorded, it was like that sound. And
I would have been I would have made hella waffles that week, dog.
That sound always went out through. That sound still went out through the audio lane, so it was in every sound.
So all your samples had a signature sound, like that's your tag. Doo-doom. Oh, Mike must be on the beat. Doo-doom.
I would have been so mad.
Crazy because they unplug their phones.
Right.
I would have been so mad because look, I'm a pretty easygoing dude. But like when I'm making music, if something keeps like failing, that puts me in a bad mood, man. Like that's man, the other day I was working on a project and machine kept crashing and I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm about to go shave my head, cut my beard off,
and sing Hare Krishna songs.
Yeah, dog. I was just frustrated. I was like, man, I need some sort of solace.
You right now. I bet you Hare Krishnas don't have this problem when they singing them.
Bro, I had to go pray.
Don't do that.
I had to go pray. I was just upset. I'm like, man, every time I play this chord, joint crash. I'm like, no. And imagine me and my dog looking at me like, yo, what's wrong with you, B? That's what I picture him talking like, yo, what's wrong with you?
That's what Weezy talks.
And I'm here like it just keeps crashing and I can't do nothing and I'm looking for an electric razor and I'm just trying to figure out. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. Nah, I would never cut my beard. Steve's over here like, no, not the beard. No, I wouldn't cut that.
No. Hey, but you know what though? Speaking of like a purpose-made controller though, if they're gonna do a Mac OS version, then we're talking. You know what I mean? Obviously, I mean as far as a dedicated controller, it would be really dope to do that. But I mean, still, whenever iPads change, you wouldn't necessarily be able to use it. But if they could figure out a way to work around that,
this is probably the only software that beats Akai in one area. The AU3. Because if companies are coming out with mirror images of their plugins, now you have to say to yourself, well, I can really have a standalone machine with plugins.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, because now companies are building this new AU3 platform, and that's people don't realize how much of a game changer that is. Because the moment that Apple decides, you know what, guys, bump this iOS stuff, we're actually going to put Mac OS X on an iPad. Now you have all of your plugins running here. And like I said before, the new iPad is 6-core, 4 gigs of RAM, is only going to get better.
Right.
If you saw the benchmarks, it's running faster than the 12-inch MacBook when it comes to video rendering, when it comes to a lot of other stuff, multi-core performance, all that cool stuff. We're about to get to a place where we're going to see a keynote one day like, oh, yeah, by the way, Logic is on your iPad.
Yeah, I could see that coming sooner than later.
Oh, it is. Bro, I smell it in the air. Yeah, I feel like Apple farted somewhere in California, and I smell it all the way over here.
Smell like waffles?
Smell like waffles.
Smell like waffles.
I mean, I really think that's bringing Logic to the iPad is really a thing they working on already. I mean, I just saw with the iOS 11 beta, you're now be able to send MIDI and audio directly through the Lightning port. So you don't need, I mean, it's possible now, but you need specific apps and they're a little bit buggy and they crash from time to time and lose connection. But if this is implemented directly into the Lightning port, there's nothing much that holds them back to bring Logic to the iPad.
Exactly. It's going to be, dude, it's going to happen because they ain't going to let Microsoft win with the Surface, dog.
No,
They're not gonna let them win.
Yep.
Steve Jobs is in his grave right now. Like, I'll get you, Microsoft.
Right. And also with the new file system,
yeah,
that's also another step that makes it possible to port OS X or Mac OS to the iPad.
Right.
Just like the Surface does.
Hey, Mike, question. Am I correct to say that you're going to be able to drag files from your desktop to your iPad in the new iOS 11, because that's part of it has iCloud integrated into it, so that you can drag files from your desktop into your iCloud and it'll show up in your
as far as I understood, it is now a file system that is pretty much the same than Mac OS, so you have the same files and folder structures. And yeah, so I think that's what they said.
Yeah, man.
Basically,
I need me a new iPad, man.
Word. My look, I think my iPad mini is fine, but my MacBook Pro died on me last weekend, over the weekend. And it hurt bad, man. It hurt. I was in the middle of doing some stuff, and
I remember.
Yeah, I had to kind of pull back and say I can't do that stuff now because this thing broke on me. I ain't about to go buy no new MacBook Pro. It's gonna have to wait.
Just wait, man, because you already know they always put out the corny version first, and then the second version is like, oh yeah, this is the cornless version. Here you go.
Yeah. Pull back so you don't have to beta test the MacBook Pro.
Yeah, man, I ain't trying to do that, man. How did you guys feel about the sound quality of Beatmaker?
Whatever I put in there sound like. Yeah, I mean, for me, I didn't sample into it, but I loaded up samples and it's not whatever I put in there. It sounded like what I put in there.
Yeah, I felt like it sounded really good.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the time stretch algorithm?
I haven't time stretched.
I haven't messed that up.
I loaded it.
I don't time stretch much though.
Y'all don't be out here stretching, yo.
I loaded in.
Like, I gotta rethink my group of crew over here. Wait a minute.
No, I'm just asking because obviously I've been using Serato sample for the past couple weeks.
Right.
And I'm gonna say this, and you could fight me on this. It's the best sounding algorithm I've ever heard in anything. Like, it just sounds amazing. I stretched that joint like 3 times slow, and it still sounds like a whole. I can still hear the chords. I can still hear the bass. And
there's no like, because I know what you mean. Sometimes time stretch can get to that whole thing where it's slightly choppy, micro millisecond choppiness.
Yeah, there's less artifacts than what you hear in Ableton than what you hear in, because they're using the Serato pitch and time algorithm, which is highly regarded. When I know these other DAWs are licensing from like Synaptic or from like Elastic Art, they're all licensing the same time stretch algorithm. So it's just like when you hear a different one, you're like, man, this sounds really good. That's kind of where I'm at right now. But
that's dope.
Yeah, the Beatmaker joint sounded good to me, and I was just curious, like, yo, what did they use to get that algorithm? Because it doesn't sound bad.
It's wait, let me look it up because I just wrote it down.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's I think a C-plane elastic.
Ah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what they use.
Oh, somebody just put in the chat, except Reason. I don't know what in context to what, I don't know what they're saying.
Reason uses his own time
stretch. Reason's time stretch is dope too, because their time stretch sounds really good. Man, that's another software that I'm just like, man, just put that joint on the iPad, dog.
Don't you think it'll be coming though? Because it seems like Reason seems to be kind of moving in a direction that's like.
Oh no, I think it's gonna happen because that figure is dope, but it ain't Reason.
Yeah, of course, right.
Even though they claim that the code is Reason in the background.
So, well, then that tells you that that's the gateway.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so when they say, oh, Figure is actually Reason in the background with a different user interface, I'm like, oh, okay. And they already ported Thor into iOS, which is their really dope synth, which sounds great. And I'm just like, wait, come on, just put the whole thing, you know? Just
I feel like when companies do that kind of stuff, what they're doing is working on the flagship piece. But as they get those little things and they're like, okay, this works, that means we can do it. But if that works right now, we tested Thor, put it out. And then next thing you know, I feel like that's them working on the whole thing in the background.
Yeah, sometimes it's a business move too.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say this, but
and don't say it if you shouldn't say it.
I shouldn't say this, but because I don't want to discourage any company putting out more iPad synths. But as soon as 4 hit the iStore, I sold Reason.
Oh wow, really?
I loved 4 in Reason, but it was the only thing that kept me using Reason. So I just bought the iPad version for $10 or whatever it was, and then goodbye Reason.
Yeah, Reason is still special to me because that new vocal tuning thing. Since I work with a lot of vocalists, man, they'll come in and I just gotta tune that joint real quick when they sounding flat or sharp, you know, flatter than an open Coke, and I'm just like, yo, it's real fast because it's right on the track. I don't gotta open up anything else. Melodyne works the same way in Studio One, but Reason is just, you know, less CPU heavy. So it just works for me.
I like all the new features they put in Reason. The only thing that keeps me away from buying it again is I don't have a 5K iMac. I have just a regular 27-inch screen. Still on that, it's so tiny, and it's not a scalable GUI. And
Reason looks horrible.
It's not usable for me. I mean, I don't have the best eyes, and my screen is a little bit far on my desk, so it's more far away than using a laptop or something like that.
I feel you.
I just can't use it. I can't read anything on the display.
All I'm saying is if when they drop version 10, they better do a whole GUI like revamp. Because Reason been looking the same since Elton John had hair. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like since way back, and I'm just like, it's great, but it just you're not updating anything. You're just adding stuff. But
you know, I may be an anomaly when it comes to Reason, man. I've never really gotten into Reason, but then there's a few things I've never really gotten into. I've used Reason a couple times. It was like, that's dope, and then I always end up back on something else.
I think that now that you're into modular, if you revisit it,
it would be a different experience. You think
it's a different experience for you because now it's not intimidating. Because I know a lot of dudes when they first got on Reason, they're like, "Man, how am I supposed to make sounds with all these holes in the back of a gear?" You know, and it's just like now that you know CV, you know routing, you know all this stuff. Now you're gonna get in Reason like, "Oh snap, this is the biggest sound design environment ever on my computer." And that's what
I may have to give it another try, man. It's been a while since I checked it out.
I learned a lot about audio flow and wiring studio gear just with Reason.
Yeah.
It's a really nice tool for that. And it's really, since it's so modular, it's in a, I think there's not much else out there that can make you so creative just patching a few cables around, and Reason sometimes either cuts off your whole audio or makes a really great sound.
Yeah, also, before plugins, it was the most uncrashable DAW in the world.
Used to be 4 plugins, so are you saying it's more stable now that they've introduced the plugins?
Bruh, I used to have like 7 jillion tracks, MIDI, 207,000 polyphony notes playing. That joint would not crash. And doing it in 96K.
How did they integrate it? I thought they do put plugins in kind of a container, right? So
yeah,
it's not Reason crashing; it's the container crashing.
Yeah, it's sandboxing. Yeah, it's the plugin sandboxing. But still, it's like you messing up my workflow, dog. Like,
yeah, but I think the people were asking for VST support for so long. I think that's the most clever move they could do, sandboxing the plugins.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
I mean, it makes sense if you think about it, right? Because if they had a very stable environment, and that's a way for them to kind of shut that off. Like, listen, the plugin will crash. That's that VST. It is what it is. But if the environment still remains stable, but still, I can see how it's going to ruin your workflow if that's going to be happening. The environment is up, but the VST is crapping out on you.
But it added so much now that I can take a contact library and I can CV that joint.
Word.
You know, that's a whole nother thing that I don't know if people, well, I know people are doing it. It's just when I saw plugins being added, I just automatically thought, oh, now I'll be able to bend the mess out of this plugin like I wasn't able to do before in a certain, you know, in a certain DAW. What up, Masada?
Yo, what up, Masada? Word. So it's all good, man. So any last thoughts about Beatmaker 3? Like, is there I guess what we talked about was something like I'm about to ask, like, so do y'all think there's some stuff that it can benefit from, right, by having added? But it seems like one of the biggest things is the browser, which is more of an iOS issue than Beatmaker 3 issue.
Yeah.
Now those extra clicks you were talking about, Joe, like some things have extra.
Yeah. For me, it's workflow, and I want to say, man, like I met one of the cats from Intuit when I was at Loop a couple years ago. Man, cool cat. I think it's a dope platform. I just think there's little tweaks that can really improve the workflow. And I think the browser can be improved even on iOS. Like there's just some small things they could do with the browser as it is now that would make it much more usable. Like even just making sure all the stuff that you buy from their store and all the stuff that's in the factory library is already tagged would go a long way to making things, you know, easier to navigate. And then just, you know, some easier ways to kind of tag your stuff, like maybe letting you tag your stuff as you import it, or, you know, if I'm importing a folder,
adding some tagging and stuff.
I got one complaint from a homie though. He said, yo, this is my first time getting into Beatmaker, and that joint only came with like 5 sounds.
Yeah.
He's like, and then I gotta pay.
That's where we come in, Steel.
No, I know, I feel you, because I'm like, hey man, just go to msxaudio.com and download some songs.
But you know, if you go to the Beatmaker 3 store, isn't there like an initial starter?
There's a free there's a free pack in the store.
Yeah, no, I know there's a free pack, but I think it was way less than what came with Beatmaker 2, right?
That's true.
I think it is.
Beatmaker 2 made more sounds. But I know there will be more freebies coming.
Okay.
That's what they told me. But it will take some time.
I'm interested in supporting that platform in a big way.
Matthew, we're interested in that.
There's a lot about it that just screams like support me. So I'm looking to do that.
That's what's up. Well, Intuit knows, I mean, this is a panel full of sound designers, especially for hip hop and that kind of stuff. So, you know, this is
actually my out of orbit sound pack will be a freebie soon in the store.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So that's
nice. A dope sound pack too, man.
First start.
I love that sound pack, man. That's such a dope. That was such a dope library, man.
Those presets are really nice too, man.
Yeah, man, good stuff.
Yeah, it was really a really nice start.
Thanks. For everybody who has not checked it out, it's also now a free download on my website. So it's not a paid product anymore. Everybody can come over. Actually, it's donationware. So if you want to send $1 or $2 over, I don't mind.
Give the man a couple bucks, man. Give him his worth, man. Give him some.
Hey guys, just wanted to tell you real quick. So I'm getting ready to do this panel, the speaking panel. It's going to be about introductions to Eurorack and modular synthesis. Try to stream it. So on my channel, it may or may not be there in about, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. But I'm just letting you guys know. I'm going to try to stream it. I can't promise.
Cool.
You should promise. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have anything to hold my phone, so we'll see what happens.
Word.
I do have an iPad, though. I'll see what I can do. But either way, I'm gonna one way or another.
So you got to do like they used to do in the 90s when we would do shows. We'll see somebody on the side of the stage and be like, yo, here go $10. When I come on stage, hit the smoke button.
No, I'm gonna do like, dude, I'm in Philly. I'm doing like Kevin Hart and just screaming, "Give him fire!
Get fire on these bitches!"
I don't trust nobody to film for me. They'll run off with my phone like, ha ha!
Yeah, you can't leave. You can't leave because you're on the panel.
Yeah, like imagine me like jumping off stage, punching somebody in the face for taking my phone. Get out of here! Look all crazy.
Word. So, hey, man. Ken, good luck on your panel,
Yeah,
man. I hope you can stream it. I want to see it, but we're gonna go ahead and wrap up.
Yep.
I think in closing, I gotta say the Beatmaker 3 is a major tool. I mean, like it's super feature packed. I think you can see it as a sketchbook, or you could see it as a complete beat production tool, music production.
One of
tool.
these,
and get you a pen for your editing, for more precise editing and stuff, and it's good. And you know, my man Matthew from Intua is on here. He said duly noted. I think he was talking about some of the things that Joe was mentioning, like with the categorizing and all that kind of stuff. So all I could see with this is that it's dope right now. It's Beatmaker 2 was dope. Everybody loved it way more than, like, say, the MPC iOS app. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I reviewed that earlier on, all I could think about was it was like Beatmaker 2 was the litmus test. It was the bar, right?
Yeah.
And they've surpassed the Beatmaker 2 with Beatmaker 3, and all I could see is good things in the future. So it's a monster of a joint. I can't wait to dig more into it. So it'll probably come up on the show from time to time.
For sure, definitely.
So, yeah. Anybody else got anything they want to say in closing?
Man, just people be creative, take risks. Don't be afraid of what anybody thinks about you when you're making music. Man, I've been this week. I've had multiple people tell me that they're afraid of stepping out of the box in fear that they won't be able to monetize with music.
But it don't matter though, right? Like when I think about that, I remember something Q-Tip said, and I always say, like, make the music. The rest of that stuff will fall in place. You are a creator. Like you got to be able to know that, like, you create. This is a universal language. Be creative and step out of the box, and don't think. Like sometimes I remember back in the day, like sometimes it would be like, yo, I don't know if this is going to be dope just because it don't sound like everything. But other people start hearing stuff and be like, yo, that's fresh. Well, we get that thing in our head where we think just because it don't sound like everything else, that it ain't fresh.
Yeah, that's the comparison trap.
Yeah, and you can't fall into that.
Yeah, and that's something that I just want to encourage everybody in the thread and listening live. Like, you know, this week, really explore yourself, you know, and really take those risks, you know, do what sounds good to you. And you never know, you might invent a new genre. You might do something that is,
it's mod bap.
Yeah, you know, exactly.
You can't be afraid to explore stuff.
Yeah, you can't be afraid to explore it. So, you know, just wanted to throw that out there just because I've had multiple conversations this week with people that hit me up. They're like, yo, how do you do this stuff? And I'm like, because I don't be following no rules. Like, I'll be making waffles and beats at the same time. So like, hey.
You know why that is because the squares on the waffles remind you of pads.
Exactly. You put like different syrup, different syrups and like every.
That's right. You got blueberry syrup in one square. You got maple in another. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, thanks for joining, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Mike, it's always great to spend time with you.
Yeah, you're in Germany, and we've seen it go from like 12 noon to midnight. So while you've been on this screen.
Yeah, actually, as I said to you earlier, I would be here more often, but over here it's now 9:30 in the evening, and Saturday night is basically the only day in the week where I go out and meet friends and stuff. So it's always a little bit hard to manage all this. But I try to be here more often soon. I also got another tip for you guys. I just found this morning. It's a iOS app called Swarplug. Maybe I can share my screen real quick because it's a little bit hard to pronounce for me. I hope I say it right. Swarplug.
What is it? Hold on.
And it's super ugly.
Yeah, it is.
It's from a dude. I think it's from a dude from India, and this is what it's all about. It's all that Indian type of percussion. A lot of drum loops. You get a. And
I know these dudes. These are the same guys. Is this from Volcar Audio or something? The same dudes that make the plugins.
I think that's what they're called.
Yeah, I just got 2 of their EQs that are really good.
It's I think it's $2, and it's packed full with percussion loops, and you can sequence them. So a really great sound for little money.
That's great.
Just I found this morning, and I thought it's really great.
Oh, that's dope.
Super dope. That joint ugly as heck, though. That joint look not attractive.
Yeah, but as I say, tools don't have to be attractive. You know,
I would not take. They have to sound attractive.
I would not take this app to the. Nah, I don't know about that, bro. I would not take this app to the prom. You know what I'm saying? I would not.
I mean, if you really. If design would be so important for you.
Oh, man, you playing Throttle? Yo, I just been starting to play Throttle too, dog.
Yeah, I just bought it today.
Yeah, man.
So enough of my screen here.
Sorry, I just saw that Throttle. I was like, oh, I've been playing that too. Okay.
Yeah, I just bought it today. I didn't even open it up yet, but I loved it as a kid, and I love all the remakes of the old point-and-click adventures.
Yeah, man.
Huge fan of that.
Dope. So, hey, Rod, thanks for I'll call you A-Rod, but hey, thanks for joining the show, man.
Yeah, man, it was good.
For the people out there that don't know, we always talk about how we have these group chats and all that kind of stuff. Rod is like, the other Beat People crew that this is his first time on the show, but he's always a part of the conversation daily, on the regular daily, straight up. So I'm glad you came on, man.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you, Rod.
Word up.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Joe.
Hey.
Thanks for being here, man.
Hey, always good to catch up with the squad, man.
Word up. Somebody just wrote something in German. I don't know what that is.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here with that Google Translate. Hold on.
So Joe, what you got going on, man? What's the latest in the St. Joe world?
Come to the channel, come to the site, soundsandgear.com, man. Come to the shop. We got Beat People stuff in there,
All 50 of his channels.
We got plugins. We got different things. Yeah, I'm just we got NKS packs over there. So
yeah
just come through, man. I'm doing some streamlining of some stuff right now. In terms of all the channels and things, kind of consolidating everything down to the one Sounds and Gear brand, but it's still the same stuff, man. Check me out.
Word.
Find me. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you stopping through, man. It's always good to catch up. And this is the Beat People podcast. It's episode 26. Be sure to stop by beatpeople.com and for all your latest music tech and beatmaker tech news, go to bboytechreport.com. And I got some cool interviews coming up that I'm going to be throwing up there too. More reviews coming my way. So a lot of cool stuff coming up. But like I said, be sure to support all the crew, at all our different websites, and spread the word. Be sure to stop by next time. This has been Beat People Podcast, episode 26. We don't beat people, we are Beat People. Peace.
Waffle.